Welcome to Veranda IAS. In today's current affairs polity session, we are going to discuss about Digital Accountability and Transparency Act, that is Data Act. So the learning objective of today's LU will be to explain the Digital Accountability and Transparency Act, to outline the reasons why this Data Act is in news and list the benefits of such digitization, and to discuss the reasons for the Comptroller and Auditor General's recommendations, why CAG has recommended such an act. This was actually a recommendation of CAG. So first, what is data? These proposals by whom? These proposals by CAG acknowledge the importance of digital public utilities. All those public transactions accounts has to be made digital. Not only does it encompasses e-services, not only providing citizen services in electronic format online, but it also converts all government income and spending data to an electronic format. That is important. This Data Act is about converting all the government's income and expenditure data electronically. So far it is maintained to a large extent manually. So this proposals by CAG wants it to be converted electronically, that is machine readable, no human interpretation is required, purpose linked, every expense or every income has to link, there has to be a link between that purpose for which it is spent or the purpose for which, from which this income is acquired, dependable, accessible and searchable at any time in future. So this is the objective of this Digital Accountability and Transparency Act. This covers all the revenues and expenditures, not only revenues or not only expenditures, all the revenues and expenditures of Union government, such as requests, assessments, invoices which should be received, processed and paid electronically. So this human intervention in between has to be removed. All those transactions has to be happen and all those records has to be maintained electronically. This is the stated objective of this data. All government information technology systems must adhere to a defined open architectural framework while retaining adequate security and privacy. See, this is one of the concern. When everything goes digital, security and privacy are two important concerns. It is prone to cyber attack, yes. When all those government's data were stored online, it is definitely prone to cyber attacks. Already Indian government's websites, Indian government's data are constantly under the threat of cyber attacks, cyber security. And also there is another concern is privacy. If some sensitive information about any persons or any organizations is leaked, when it is leaked online, then it questions the credibility of this purpose. So there is a stake of privacy is also involved here. So when everything goes digital, these two has to be taken care of. So why this data is in news? In July 2020, the CAG, the Comptroller and Auditor General, recently recommended a three-phase transition to mandatory digital payments, accounting and transactions for the central government as a part of proposed initiative. This law is dubbed as DATA, Digital Accountability and Transparency Act. So basically CAG recommended a three-phase transactions to a complete digitization of all the payments and records keeping of Union government. Since CAG is a auditor, so what he does actually, he audits the expenditure and income of Union government. So he is the apt person. So CAG recommended so. So what are the benefits of doing such digitization? It has several benefits. So including recognition of off-budget transactions. So every monetary transaction, every spending, every rupee spent by Union government has to be approved by the parliament, that is through budget. But if at all, if there is any off-budget transactions, that will be taken into account if complete digitization is made, that will be recognized as a result of digitization. company continuity, that is electronic data cannot be lost or misplaced like files or paper documents. This happens generally in government offices. So this continuity can be ensured as a result of digitization and an unmistakable audit trail. So auditing can be done for the accounts of previous 5 years or 6 years or 10 years. If it is online, then there is no problem. It will be there in internet, it will be there in the server for eternity. So you can retrieve the data at any time and any place you want. Additionally, it would enable the parliament and legislatures of the states to be certain that every rupee owed to the government has been collected and utilized for the purpose for which it was appropriated. In budget itself, you would have studied, if not, you will study that every single rupee that is going into the consolidated fund of India needs Parliament's approval, and every single rupee the union government is taking out from consolidated fund of India also needs same parliamentary approval. That is nothing but appropriation bill. That is what called as appropriation bill. So this digitization will help the parliament and other state legislatures enable the parliament to keep check on this appropriation bill, that is whether the spent amount is actually spent on exact same stated purpose as in appropriation bill or not. So these are some of the benefits of digitization. And by defining data items for all transactions, standardization is ensured, ambiguity is clarified, everything will be crystal clear. Duplicated data is minimized. This one is important because during a manual data entry, data duplication is possible. Double entry is possible. It will lead to some confusions while auditing. So this can be eliminated in case of digitization, and protocols for database integrations are created. It will enable the application of cognitive intelligence techniques such as analytics, artificial intelligence and machine learning, metadata learning, cloud data. So these kind of advanced technologies can be used, which will aid in setting budget baselines, spotting anomalies if there is any error. Using this data analytics and artificial intelligence, it can be found out easily. Data driven project costing. Before arriving at any final cost of a project, if there is relevant data available, then we can calculate accurate project cost. Performance comparisons across various departments and agencies, and it will be used as a benchmark. So these are the various benefits of digitization. So what are the reasons for such a recommendation made by CAG? In 1947, the total monetary value of Indian budget is rupees 197 crore. Only 197 crore. Now, last year, the total budgetary amount of Indian government is rupees 30 lakh crore. So our budget has grown from 197 crore to 30 lakh crore, and the overall government spending is expected to exceed 70 lakh crore. 70 lakh crore this year. So this is a huge leap from last 70 years. See, the monetary value is increasing on a mountainous scale, enormous scale, but since independence, the form and manner of keeping accounts has remained largely unaltered. Since independence, we are still using the same paper and books and account books to maintain the records. How is it feasible for an auditor to audit these accounts without any difficulties? It poses a very huge difficulty. That is why CAG has recommended digitization of every data. Manual transactions and manual payments frequently result in manually entered data. So every manual transaction and payments has to be entered manually, right? At various stages in various databases on various platforms. So this will lead to double entry, data duplication. Double entry and data duplication. This can be eliminated if digitization is carried across various departments and ministries. This taints data, breaches the single source of truth premise, and undermines the transparency and good governance. So this manual entry does all this. Data recognizes, data in the sense Digital Accountability and Transparency Act recognizes that digitally empowered individuals need digital public utilities that make all government revenue and spending data electronic, as we studied in the first slide, electronic, machine readable, granular, complete, purpose linked, non-repudiable, reliable, accessible and searchable, in addition to providing e-services. These are the stated objectives of this Data Act, Digital Accountability and Transparency Act. So in today's session, we have studied about Digital Accountability and Transparency Act, and also we have studied why this Data Act is in news and what are the benefits of digitization and what are the reasons for the CAG to give such recommendations. So that is all for today's LU. We will meet in another current affairs sessions of polity. Until then, thank you very much.